Hi guys, it's Katz from Kkatz Vegan Kitchen. Welcome to another episode. Welcome to my channel, all my new subscribers and my current subscribers. If you are new to my channel, please take a moment and hit the subscribe and notification bell so you can see when the next videos come out. I am basically doing the starch solution, which is from Dr. McDougall, and it is a wonderful whole food plant-based diet or lifestyle. It has been about 2.5 months now that I've been currently on this way of eating, and I've lost a total of 50 pounds so far. So please follow along my weight loss journey, and I hope that it encourages you to follow a whole food plant-based diet as well. So I promise that when I hit 100 subscribers, I would release my first food video or recipe video, and it has happened. Thanks to Derek's journey. He was my 100 subscribers, so hello and thank you so much for your support. And he has unlocked the treasure, so thanks to Derek and all of you guys subscribing to me. I am finally going to show you how to make my nacho cheese sauce. It is quite different than the other ones out there. There might be a few similar ingredients, but I do it in a different way, and I hope that you like it. It is without oil, and it is solution approved, so you can definitely eat it to your full content. You can put it in mac and cheese, as a nacho sauce, as scallop for like scallop potatoes, whatever you desire. I will be showing you different ways of using this sauce in different recipes. But for today, I'm doing a 2-in-1, so I'm creating the cheese sauce for you, and I'm also going to do a Nacho Supreme, which is compliant on the starch solution. So without further ado, let's get to that recipe. Alright guys, it's voiceover time. We are going to get cooking. The first part of that was a 1/2 cup of squash, and I'm just peeling my sweet potatoes, and it's about a 1/2 cup. Again, at the end of the video, I suggest that you do a full cup of possibly each item if you want, or either or if you prefer to stick to sweet potato or squash. Either way, it will turn out fantastic. So I just plop that into my Vitamix. Make sure you're using a high speed blender. If you do not have one, make sure you have one that works quite well, or even a high speed like a food processor, in order to create a very smooth nacho cheese. So next part I'm going to be adding is a 1/4 cup of your favorite plant-based milk. I just use the original. I don't use the unsweetened. I just like the taste personally. I've always used it that way. So you don't necessarily have to go out and buy unsweetened, but if you prefer to, you definitely can. So I put in a 1/4 cup of that, as well as I'm adding paprika. The difference between smoked paprika and Hungarian is one is hot and one is mild. So smoked is the mild, so S is for sweet, H for Hungarian will be hot. That's just a tip. So I put a teaspoon of garlic. Oh, that was a teaspoon of the paprika. So I'm putting a teaspoon of the garlic right now, and this is to taste however you guys want. Me personally, for nutritional yeast, I only put 1 teaspoon. I know a lot of recipes out there say about a 1/4 cup, even 1/2 cup. I find that that's way too much for my preference, but if you like a more cheesier flavor, please add that in. Now I'm adding in a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and you can do it up to a teaspoon or to your taste. And just remember, you're only using a little bit of this, so your salt content is not going to be huge. And I'm putting in a teaspoon of black pepper. And then after that, I add in a 1/2 cup of water. Along with, in this recipe, I did 3 1/2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I recommend to using 3 full tablespoons of cornstarch when you do create this next time. Just make sure to add it to your water so that it creates a slurry. You do not want to add it directly into that. You want to make sure that it incorporates into a liquid first before adding it into your blender so that you don't have a powdery taste in your cheese sauce. So I'm just adding that in, and then at the end of that I will be adding it into the base of my Vitamix so that we mix it up. Now you're going to mix this up for anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, and you're going to hear your blender do incredible sounds, and it's going to sound like it's slowing down. Make sure that you have extra liquid if you are going to be doing 3 tablespoons of either the plant-based or the milk, so that your blender doesn't get overworked, so that you have enough liquid. Now when it does come to the consistency of the cheese, if you like it much thinner, add more liquid. If you like less thinner, then reduce the liquid. So I'm just showing you. It is hot when I open that up. You can see the steam. You want it cooking. That's what activates the thickness of it. So I'm just gonna pop it open, and you will see I didn't have to add turmeric. I didn't have to add anything else to get the nice, beautiful golden cheese color. This stuff is glorious and creamy and wonderful. Now, doesn't that look delicious? Oh, it's so good. So my next clip I'm going to show in the video is how it pours out once you make it. It is just beautiful. Now, the reason I show this is because I let it sit to the side while I'm chopping the onions and the peppers, and when you let it sit, it will thicken up and congeal a little bit, so I just want to let you know. So I'm getting ready for making my supreme. I'm chopping up some onions, and I'm going to be chopping up just a piece of bell pepper. I didn't use very much because I was just making a single portion of this for myself. So about 1/4 of a bell pepper, just chop it up however thick or small you want it. And then I use some leftover soya curls. I will show in another video how to use these soya curls, and I just wanted to cut them up nice and finely. And when I do decide to saute them, I do not add any other spices to the mixture. Normally I would if it was just fresh soya curls or crumbles, or you can even use mushrooms. But because it was already seasoned, my meat before, I just add some water. You do not need to add oil in order to saute your vegetables. Just keep that in mind. So I saute the onions until they're translucent, and then I will add in my bell peppers and just stir that in a little bit just to cook it a little bit. And then I add in my soya curls, and I add in water as needed. So if you start noticing that it's drying up, just add some water so that you can make a little bit of a sauce and that stuff don't stick and brown. So while those are cooking, I get started on my nachos, and I make it out of white corn tortillas, and I am just using water to baste them. And because you're not using oil, we want pepper and salt or any other spices to stick to the surface. You can use lemon if you want, but I didn't want the lemon flavor, so that is why I used water in order for my items, or the spices I add, to stick to the surface. I flip it over to the next side, and again I base it with water, and I do the exact same thing, and I stick these into my toaster oven. And the toaster oven is an air fryer, but mine doesn't have a particular setting where you can adjust the temperature. It just goes to one setting of air fry, and I've tried that and I didn't like how they tasted. So I decided to do some testing today, and I just stuck them into my toaster on the normal toast setting, and I just turn it on to the highest setting of it, and I let it go on the one side, and once it gives me the warning that the toast is done or the tortillas are done on the one side, I flip them over. Time for plating. You can see they turned out perfectly. Some of them might get a little bit burnt, but they all taste fantastic. There's the perfect amount of salt, the perfect amount of crunch. You can see how crunchy they are. And I like doing them this way instead of cutting them into triangles because I can have different sizes, different shapes. It is completely up to you. However you want to do it. You can cut them into triangles and then maybe line it on a parchment paper and then stick it in your toaster oven or on a silicone mat. Completely up to you. So I just break up all 4 of the tortillas and then I go to adding my cheese sauce. Now because my cheese sauce was sitting, it did thicken up as you can see, and I just scoop it out instead of pouring it out. That's why I wanted to show you the pouring clip, because if I had used it right away once I finished using it, then it would have like poured beautifully and nicely across this. But either way it works. So I just scoop it out and I spread it out as much as possible, and you don't need that much, and it is beautiful. Like look at the color of that, and you can see how shiny it is and how like it's creamy. So I now add my soya crumble, onion, pepper mixture just on top. Delicious, delicious. And we're getting to the next part. I did use the, oh yes, I added salsa, and that particular one is from my local PC store, which is like the superstore, and that one has no oil in it, and it comes in mild, hot. I just went with mild. I could have used hot because I could have used that extra spice, but not necessarily. And yes, this is what I want to talk about. I used the Dr. McDougall's mayonnaise recipe that he has made out of tofu, and I just add some plant-based milk into it, and I watered it like to water it down, and I add some green onions. And just perfection. Look at this. This is Nacho Supreme at its best. I added in extra spices like some garlic as well as salt and pepper to give it a different flavor, and honestly it was unreal. Alright guys, here's my finished plate. I hope you liked the recipe. It looks absolutely delicious with the cheese, the soya curls, and the salsa, and the mayo on top. I used it instead of sour cream, and then green onions and parsley. Let's give this a try. Just gonna get a piece that's full of that sour cream. The corn tortillas turned out perfect in the toaster oven. And just adding the water and adding salt and pepper on top. You can also add lime if you want instead of doing the water. Definitely recommend this. So good, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Derek for my 100th subscriber so that we can release this video for you. See you next time, guys. Bye. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. I had a fantastic time creating it. There will be a few different things that I will do. I think I will still stick to having the full cup to even 2 cups, or doing a double batch of this recipe of just the sweet potatoes. However, it did taste fantastic with the squash. But if you do not like squash, you can definitely do the sweet potato, or vice versa. Take out the sweet potato and just do the squash. It works out really well. Another thing that I would do is I did half teaspoons or tablespoons cornstarch. So I plan to do 3 full tablespoons the next time for that. And if you do decide to do that, please make sure to have extra water on the side, or eat your plant-based milk, so that you can thin out your cheese and that your blender doesn't overwork. Now you will hear that difference in the blender saying that it's done, and you want it to keep on cooking until it is boiling hot, because that activates the cornstarch to thicken it up. So that is it for my first recipe. Stay tuned for the second one. I think it will be the mac and cheese, I believe, that I will release for you, possibly tomorrow. So thank you for subscribing. Please follow me on Instagram at kkatz vegan kitchen. And that is basically it. Thank you once again, Derek, for being my 100. Thank you to all of you that have subscribed. I hope that this family will continue to grow, and please watch other channels out there like Highway to Health, Plant-Based Dads, Jane Esselstyn, Rip's channel, Hannah, Kiki, all those guys. There is so many recipes out there that are fantastic for you guys. As always, one life, one love, one purpose. Go out and do you today, and never let anybody stop you from your weight loss goals and your dreams in general. And just thank you for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.